Spring break is winding down, and so it's time for districts to finalize those budgets for next school year.
Public vote is Tuesday, May 19th for almost all districts in New York. Joining us now, Liverpool School Superintendent Rick Chapman. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Rick, I think you might have one of the more challenging school budgets. I've been talking to several superintendents. You seem like you're in a really difficult spot. Gap that started, I think, as high or got to as high as 22. Last I knew, you had gotten it down to 13. What are we still at about that 13
roughly
number right
13
now?
million. Yeah, our high water mark was $22 million gap. We've worked to contain our costs and our spending throughout this year and then into next year. And really, our plan is for multiple years to come off this track. But yeah, we're about a $13 million gap currently.
You asked for anybody who was going to do early retirement to put that in by last Friday. Yeah, to help kind of bring it down, because I think your number was around 80 positions that you needed to reduce, and you were hoping to get a lot of those through attrition. So what are you hearing as far as early retirement? Is that helping at all?
Yeah, so we were projecting it, and part of our gap getting it down to the 13 million, we did make some projections knowing who could take the incentive. Our projections were very accurate for the most part. You know, a couple people, 100,000 one way or the other does make a difference. It is significant, but our target, we were accurate with our target.
Okay. All right, significant, but does this mean you still have to reduce positions? And how many of those positions are vacancies? Or was that you're not going to be cutting people, but just the positions?
Yeah, so through attrition, like I said, about 80-ish positions we were looking at eliminating or reducing. About half were positions that have opened up that we can, close out in some cases. We have retreats where we have moving people from one position into back into that a new position, and then we do have some layoffs that about half that.
So you're looking at potentially
40.
up to 40? Yeah, at this point. How much of the reductions have to do or play? I thought it was really interesting, enrollment versus staffing, where you're at. And I know it's a little bit of a complex situation.
Yeah, so the last 10 years, our enrollment has gone down about 525 students. That's significant. Our staffing has gone up about 174, 75. A lot of that staff increase is due to mandates. We have a large E&L population that's expanded a lot over the years. Also, our special ed population has expanded. So, there's reasons why our staff did grow. However, we have a carrying capacity that we have to live within, and so it's forcing us to make some reductions.
Which means a really tight budget.
It does mean a really tight budget, yes.
What's that going to look like for school kids next semester? What kind of programs might be cut?
We talk about not impacting students, but I think when you have cuts across the board, there's going to be some type of impact on students. We just need to minimize it as much as possible. So, even eliminating a bus driver here, a bus driver there, there might be students that have relationships with that individual. Of course, that could be an impact. As far as looking at the overall programming, we're trying not to impact it with, let's say, classroom teachers, for example. I know a common question has been, is our class size going to go up? We look at our enrollment every year. We make adjustments, whether we add individuals or we close out sections and maybe move a teacher to a different area. So our class sizes will stay within our superintendent regulations. We're not expecting our class sizes to balloon or anything along those lines. So
yeah, I know this doesn't fix any gaps or anything like that, but maybe this at least helps explain some things as to why the budget has gone up. Insurance, and you are not alone. Again, I've talked to several superintendents. Health insurance is up for everybody, and they all seem to keep pointing back to GLP-1s, the weight loss drugs. It seems really surprising to me.
And that's an area that's gone up unexpectedly because the GLP-1s are wildly crazy and popular. The staff, we want them to take those drugs because they have a healthy lifestyle, whether it's being used for diabetes or weight loss. But there is an impact on the district, and there is a cost. So they have been one of the factors. We've had some other factors as well. We have individuals who are taking some designer drugs, let's say for cancer treatments. Those could be $100,000 drugs or treatments. So we incur those costs as well. And then also contracts, insurance contracts have been negotiated recently in the last few years, and that's also caused it to rise.
And what's the tax levy looking like?
We're looking tax levy 3.3. We're still within our tax cap, so we're happy to keep it there.
Rick, we appreciate the time. We'd love to have you back if you want before the public goes out and votes May the 19th. But thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.